I'm going to call this meeting of the library board into order. So again, this is a hybrid meeting being held in person at Village Hall and online via Zoom. The link to the Zoom meeting is at the top of the agenda. It is 6:30, so I am officially calling it into order. We do have a quorum and the agenda was properly posted. So then the next item in here is this is the public's opportunity to speak. So looking here, I do not see anyone in person or online. So we will move forward to the next agenda item, which is discuss and consider the minutes from the July 16th library board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Cindy, seconded by Megan. Any more discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. We have no old business, but we do have some new business for the next agenda item, which is discuss and consider the 2026 library board budget. So there's two documents that are attached to the agenda as part of this discussion item. I just want to provide some quick overview, and especially for those who are new to the board. So one is every year we have to do a budget request at this time, and then it'll go forward to the village board. This is, so we have the worksheet is the main element in there that you can see, and this is kind of the request. There are two, I would say, categories of items in the lines on the worksheet. One is the black items and the other is the gray. The gray items are things that we can put in as our kind of discretion to help determine what the items should sum up to under their kind of section in there. So like for operating supplies and expenses, you see those different sections which are very much in line with our strategic plan and our goals in there, so we can use those to help kind of calculate what our operating expenses are. I also attached a memo. This memo is pretty much just for the library board. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the worksheet, the requests, we are requesting the exact same budget as last year, and thus a memo is not needed to move forward for the village board. So this is just very much for our internal process discussion in here. And as you can see, I kind of wrote it, kind of giving us some good highlights in there, talking about some of our new initiatives, such as the Glen Grove, talking about all of our strategic plan items in here, and really leveraging how we are partnering and doing targeted youth and adult outreach in there. So that is kind of the quick summary background of the budget in there. So with that, I do need a motion to open up discussion.
Yeah, I have no comments or anything need clarification, and I think it's really well written, so thank you for putting that all together. I'd make a motion to approve the 2026 library board budgets.
Second.
Motion by Cindy, seconded by Allie, or Allison, if we want to be official over there. Any further discussion?
I'll just second what Cindy said, that I appreciate the really clear explanation in the thinking behind asking for the same budget and what our goals are and how the budget aligns with all of those in the memo.
I do have one more item I forgot to mention. So part of the reason why, and we've kind of discussed this before as a board, but I'll just reiterate it here, why we are requesting the exact same budget is to really maintain the breadth and depth of the programming that we're doing. That's one of those things that we've heard countless times over the past year from various members of the community, as well as pretty much every single village board member as well, how they appreciate all the programming that we have been doing in there. And so really kind of the goal is to continue all the hard work that we're doing, and obviously look for great new opportunities to provide that variety and breadth and depth of programming. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, moving on. Next item on our agenda is the programming report. So with this, I'm going to turn it over to Monica.
So everything is updated in our shared documents for Teams for all of our programs. Just a quick kind of a uptick graph and whatnot. So for the month of August, we actually are double where we were a year ago for our programming, and we are nearly 5 times as much for our attendance for programs. That's kind of cheating, full disclosure. That is including community night out, and it is including the amazing Taylor Swift concert in the park. So that was hugely received, and which we participated by having a booth for friendship bracelets. There were some really adorable pictures. Holy cow, like there were people there making bracelets all evening. Mostly it was young children, but there were still some grown-ups that participated. No one was turned away, and I think that they had a ball with it. So we do actually shockingly have some supplies left over. I really didn't think so. I was panicking while we were there. I thought we were going to use it all up. So we'll be able to sneak some of that in with some future programming too. So attendance for August, we had 13 programs, 511 individuals attending all of those programs. So far for the month of September, we've had 5 programs already with 66 people in attendance. We typically average around about 100, give or take, for a monthly attendance. So that is sticking up pretty much on track for that. We have had amazing consistency with our weekly story times at Bakken Park. That's remaining pretty much within like the 25 to 45 averaging each week. It's to the point where the kids know me, I know the kids, we're recognizing one another on a first name basis, like truly building up that community relational component. The kids are so funny, they expect that there's every week a sensory bin. What do we have this week, Miss Monica? So it's being used, it's being active in that regard. We did do in August in conjunction with the Friends of the Library, they helped sponsor our Tuesday STEAM activities. Those were also really well received through our budget because we talked about it a little bit. We have gone through, I've been watching sales and started to buy just classic Lego bins so that way we can use them as an ongoing basis because quite frankly, Legos never fail. For any age. And so that was probably the most well received of the STEAM programs. Those were all done with a book and then of course an activity. The kids, by the time we finished, and a lot of this age-wise spanned from like tween all the way down to littles for those STEAM activities. They were so funny with the Legos. We well exceeded our hour for the time, and I was like, guys, we gotta go. Like, I've got another program to get to. So they really enjoyed it. So that's been really fun. Glen Grove, we're gonna have to reevaluate. We started to pick up a little bit, but I've been noticing over the past 2 weeks, the high school bus doesn't even drop off until like 4:15. So if we are trying to make this kind of like a all-inclusive one stop with like a homework assistance, kind of a check-in, I think we're gonna have to push it back a little bit later, and we might have to reevaluate days. So I'm gonna try and pop over to speak with the staff there to kind of look at what that could become. I don't think it's what either organization was hoping it would be. For the summer, I think it was a good time. We were starting to finally make some headway there. So I'm becoming a bit more of a fixture. I am in process of, I've obtained a sandwich board sign. So this way I don't look like a oddball as I'm trying to coerce children to come and hang out with me without like any signage or anything. So we are having a legit sandwich sign made that's going to have our library programming logo on it. So this way it'll just kind of bring that legitimacy to the event. Not to mention, for some people, it's a nice little beacon, like, hey, there is something going on. I can come over and include myself with whatever's taking place. And that would be even dual purpose for other organization or events that we would have. I would love to have it at Downtrends. This way, I'm not constantly craning my neck to find people with books. Like, hey, are you here for the book club? So that way it's there and you can kind of find where we're going to be. We did start with the contracted Storytime and Zoombini classes at Lake Ridge Bank here in Cottage Grove. They start the first Friday of the month is Storytime, the third Friday of the month is Zoombini. So that'll actually be this week. So I'm anxious to see what the attendance is for that versus the Storytime. I will be advocating for our Cottage Grove library programming calendar to be there to make sure that it is known that this is in conjunction with Cottage Grove Library. So that will be something that I will be advocating for. Those are mostly the big ones. We did move Distill Read to Wednesdays. That's going to work a little bit better for long term. They do host trivia nights on Thursdays, and as we're kind of trying to keep the program continuing through winter months, it might be better if we pick a slower evening. So that's the hope there. We will be starting at the end of this month, kicking off our Pathfinder Club. We did transition from Dungeons and Dragons to Pathfinder. It's the same concept. It kind of lends itself to one another, but we pivoted to Pathfinder. It's just a little bit easier to kind of get that beginner standpoint. So for the group that we're kind of advocating for, gearing towards for that teen plus. So we'll start that, and that'll be starting at the end of this month on Friday. We do have a volunteer leader for that. I will be in attendance for the first meeting just to kind of see and gauge how our numbers are, and so we'll move from that. And then starting here in October, we are kicking off with our cookbook club. We do have no school days scheduled as well for events and activities. So keeping up with that. Questions?
I'm seeing lots of head nods over here. So thank you for the really good and in-depth summary of what's been happening over the past couple months. Cindy, you have something? I saw you. Okay. So the next part of the agenda is just kind of an update on the all community read in there. So Monica, would you like to kind of start this off, or would you like me to?
I don't mind either way.
Why don't you go, since you've had a lot of the conversations?
Perfect. So with the all community read, this is something that we've annually done. Typically, it has taken place in the fall. We have a super, super busy fall, just in general. And so here coming in, being the new person, I have zero documentation from whatever was planned for whomever was in line for this. Not to mention, upon looking closer at this author, not hitting that they are a Wisconsin-based author, just looking at some reviews, page count, it wasn't coming across as being a well-received all-community read. Talked at the Distiller Read Book Club, asked in the community, had some engagement, of course, talked with...
God.
Oh, my. So I'm just going to continue. Okay.
No, I said do something because I give it. Oh God. Sorry.
Because he logged in 2 nights ago.
Who did that person? Oh really?